Hi, my name is Thomas, and I am going to quickly run you through mainly the basics of how to use cert. Now keep in mind, we're in a demo account here, so some of the information might be a little weird, but just bear with me. Let's just head over to the demo school first. So cert has, if you don't already know this, it's an online or offline assessment and test preparation tool. It's going to help tell you what a student's strengths and weaknesses are, as well as improve their test scores if that's what you're looking to do. All the tests within cert are designed after ACT tests. So Explore, Plan, and obviously the ACT. And they're age appropriate. Cert has two experiences, an admin experience and a student experience. What you're looking at right now is the admin experience. But I want to dive into the student experience first because I think that it makes a lot more sense to start there, and then we'll come back here. So I'm just going to click on a random student here and log into their account. I'm going to try Cecil. Okay, so there's three parts to the student experience. There's the homeroom right here, the exam room, and the study hall. The homeroom is where we can actually see what a student has done within the program and where they can start to take tests. This student has 2 assessments. Your students will have 3. And they don't have to take the test online. I just want to stress that. But in this demo, it only makes sense to show you the online version, so that's what we're going to do. Let's do math. So this is an 11th grade student. So it's set up just like the ACT. You've got English, math, reading, and science. So it's going to tell you that you should probably keep track of your information in case internet outage problems or some crazy tech problem happens. So you can just click out of that. You got 60 minutes to take this test, and you got 60 questions right here. It's just giving you an overview. Couple instructions. So I click Start Your Exam, and it's going to give me the same instructions that the real ACT would give you. And it even is going to keep track of the amount of time that you spend in the program. So here's the directions. I can review those. And just click Close for now. In the top right-hand corner, you see the amount of time I have left, and you see how much time I've spent on this individual question. You can also flag a question in case you want to look at it later. I could show the directions again in case I forgot them. And I can even show my answer sheet so I see where I am, number 1 obviously, and how far I need to be. If you're familiar with the ACT test, time management is an important part to improving your score. So on the left side, you've got the question here, obviously, and on the right side, you've got your answer. So I could answer C here, and it'll automatically move to the next question on the left. J, and the student would just go through here and start clicking answers, and you'll notice in the bottom of my answer sheet, it's updating as I'm clicking through answers. I also want you to notice that you can cross out answers just by clicking on them. And cert records this information. A lot of times when you're looking at a question, you might be able to narrow it down to 2 answers, but you're not sure which one is right. So it kind of helps to know, oh, did I narrow this for a student? Did I narrow this question down, or did I just, flat out guess on this one? I don't want to make you watch me answer all these, so I'm just going to blast through the numbers really quickly here. Obviously, this is not something that your normal student would do, but for the sake of time, I'm going to do this for you. You can see how many got 60, so I'm almost done. And after you take the test, cert, and you click Submit Answers, cert will instantly grade it. Tell you what you got right, what you got wrong, and even if you skip some of the answers. So watch here as this updates. So I got 11 right, 48 wrong. My score was a 13, and I haven't watched any of the videos. Now, if I want to go into the next section, say I'm taking a full test right now, I could just move on to the next section. But for the sake of this demo, we're going to go into the exam room so I can show you more parts of the program. So the exam room will actually show me every single question, what I got right, which is green, what I got wrong, which is red, and if I skipped any, like number 18 I skipped, that's in gray. Shows my answer versus the correct answer, the amount of time I spent on the individual question, difficulty level, whether I've watched the video or not. So we're going to track everything in the student experience. Right now this video is red, and it's red because I need to watch it. The program is saying, you got this wrong, you need to watch this video. So this is Carl Schelscheit. He's the expert tutor, 20 years of experience, who's going through how to properly go about answering this particular question. This question happens to be this video happens to be under a minute long. Most of them are 1 to 3 minutes. We're dealing with high school students here, so we know the attention span's not super long there. And after I've watched a video, I can always watch it again. Let me just click on it again, or I can click the refresh button and watch videos as many times as I want. A lot of times in class, you've got students who listen to an explanation, but they may not actually understand the explanation. And CERT allows you to watch the video and watch the explanation as many times as you want, or rewind or fast forward. You can even skip ahead. You can see here if I scroll over with my mouse, I can actually skip ahead. There's a little icon that shows me what's going on. And we track everything in the program. So we're tracking whether the student has watched the video or not. What you want to see is a bunch of purple, or they're like blue, purple, depends on what your computer screen is. You want to see a bunch of blue, purple play buttons, meaning I've watched over 80% of this particular video. Once I watch over 80% of the video, it actually changes to blue. And all these numbers change. Review progress will change to a higher percentage. We also have study hall lessons. So every single one of our questions, there's going to be a video to the question, like you're watching right now. But let's pretend a student watches the video and says to themselves, I see what he did here, but I don't actually understand why he did that. We have study hall lessons. And these study hall lessons tend to be a little bit longer, and they live in the study hall instead of in the exam room. So like this particular question has a study hall video called Distribute. If I click on that video, it's going to bring up a study hall video that's not about this specific question, but a general, broader stroke about the concept of distributing as it pertains to that question. If I were to go to the next question, number 3, this happens to not have any. And what about number 4? Number 4's got 2 study hall lessons, solve one variable and plug in answers. Let's just jump over to the study hall and take a look at what those videos look like. Let's go over to math since that's what we were on just a second ago. So this student has only taken one math section, so there's not a lot of info in here, but it's showing the lesson and how many times they were asked a question dealing with that lesson and whether they got it right or wrong. So averages, let's just click the play button. This student was asked a question that dealt with averages twice and got it wrong both times. So the program is obviously recommending that they watch this video. And in case a student wants to know which questions they were, or they want to watch those videos, you can actually do so here in the bottom. It'll list every single video. We also track these videos as well and report on them in the administrative panel. So again, you want students to be completing these videos, watching 80% of them without clicking around or jumping ahead. Just to recap here, we've got the study hall. These are the broader lesson-based videos. You've got the exam room where students take the tests and can watch videos for the specific questions they were asked. And then you've got the homeroom. This is where students see what they've scored in all the subject areas and what they've got left to do within the program. Now I'm going to jump back to the admin panel real fast. I want to show you very quickly how to register a student. Most of you guys should already have all the students in the program. We put them in there for you. But in case, sometimes you have to add a student mid-year or someone transfers. In case you need to know how to do that, it's very simple. Under Students, you just click on Register New, just like I did. You enter their first name, last name, email address if they have one, student ID, grade level, because depending on what grade they're in, changes which tests they're given, and a password. You can even change some of the demographic information if you want. You don't have to put this info in. And click Review Registration, and you've created a student. It's literally that simple. Assessment access is a very important piece of the program. We allow you, because we're dealing with students here that, they don't always stay on task, we allow you to turn on and off aspects of the program. So if you don't want students to be able to access the program, you can actually disable it just by clicking on Assessment Access like I did over here, and then disable. Make sure you hit Update Assessment Settings as well. If you don't save the settings, they won't save. You can choose whether to take the test online or offline, and you can enforce time limits or not. What does that mean? Well, enforce time limits means that if you finish a section, you won't be allowed to move on to the next section unless the time has run out. Just like when you're taking the real thing. If you're taking English and your time hasn't run out, they won't allow you to move on to math. That's how it works. We do the same thing here if you check that box. If you don't check that box, you can do whatever you want. We also have remediation access. It's the same thing as assessment access, just different pieces. We can disable the study hall. We could disable the exam room so that your students are forced to stay on task. If you don't want students watching videos, you disable them. If you don't want them taking tests, you disable the homeroom. It's pretty straightforward. Now, information, once you've created a student, information that we have on that student, let's just show you that real fast. I'm just going to click on the first student I see here, and it's going to bring up their account. You've got first name, last name, email address, state ID. Again, I can change all this info whenever I want. If the student graduated and moved on, I could archive the student so I don't have to see them. I could resend them a welcome email in case they didn't get their username and password. I can move them up a grade or move them back a grade. I can even log in as them just like I did when we first logged in. If I click the affiliations tab, I can see what classes they're associated with and what school. And if I click their grade tab, I can actually see how they're performing on the tests, when they started, when they completed. And I can even look at different tests and even their real score. We also have this button called Course Report. And this is an important link because Course Report will bring up a little synopsis of how they performed in the program, a printable one, so they can take it home to mom, dad, or just keep it in their own file. And it'll tell them how many, what their projected score is, how many they got right, wrong. The same stuff that's in the digital program itself, but this is a nice clean one-pager. You can also run reports on individual students, but I kind of want to go over reports for the entire student body. So let's work through those. Those are let's just click students here in the top. And let's just look down here. So I've got student reports. They're actually in two places. One, the bottom left here, and two, in the top right under reports. Account credentials, exactly what it sounds like. It's just going to pull up the student's username and password because you always have students who forget that information. Activity and logins, just like it sounds, same thing. It's going to show how many times the student's logged in, average time spent in the program, total time, their last login, and all this information you can export to an Excel file in case you want to track it or keep it in some other file that maybe a master file that you're creating. I'm not really sure. You can even print it too, but most people just export the document. A report that's used relatively frequently is the assessments report. I'm going to look at grade 11 here and just take a look at what this looks like. So let's see. So this is going to be grade 11 fall assessment. You've got English, math, reading, science, and their composite score. I can sort any of these fields by just simply clicking on it. I can sort by the review percentage, the amount that they've completed. I can sort by composite. And again, you can sort by anything. I can look at their score. I can look at their percentile. I can see to the right here we have the benchmarks, the ACT national benchmarks. In green, I can see who's above benchmarks. In red, I see who's below. I can change a couple of filters, what grade level I'm looking at, which exam I'm looking at. And I can also export this information as well. If you're going to show this to a group of people and you don't want them to know the students, I can actually click State ID right here. And it'll hide the student's name and just have their state ID in case you're showing it to a group of people again. So this is a really valuable report if you just want to see everyone's score and you want to see it all in one nice, neat place. Section answers, let's check out grade 11 there. This is another report called section answers, obviously. This report shows you every single question from every single student and their answer to all of them. Looks a little bit like Christmas. Red means they got it wrong, green means they got it right, gray is skipped. This is not really a useful report if it weren't for this filter questions percentile over here, drop down. If I click this, I can actually only show the questions where blank percentage, whatever I put in this drop down, or less of students got it correct. So right now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up to 18. But if I change this filter to say 10%, oh, that was too high. Let's do 20%. There we go. Now it's only going to show me 1, 6, 15, 20, 34, 74. What this is saying is this is only showing me the questions where 80% got it incorrect or more. So 20% or less got it correct. So when I go talking to my students, I'm going to know, hey, this is a question like number, let's see, 6. 16% of you got it correct. So I'm talking to 84% of the class right now. I could click play and watch the video, or I could even review the video before class and go over something similar, with the students, knowing that they all missed it. So this report really helps point out strengths and weaknesses. Let's go back to our reports real fast. We also have college readiness standards. We track all the readiness standards and a couple others of our individual reports right here. If you guys need to create a new admin, it's really simple. It's just as simple as creating a new student. You just click on admin, and then in the left-hand corner, you're going to see register new, and you can register a new admin. We also allow you to track admins' activity and logins if you want to make sure that they're, you have your teachers partaking in the program. You can actually look at their activity. Last thing I want to show you, and I know this sounds a little silly, but I just want to go over it. If you are giving the test offline, we allow you to print out the PDFs of the tests. So you got fall, winter, and spring. Again, I know this sounds silly, but make sure when you print out the test or you download it, you're downloading the correct assessment and you're inputting it in the right spot. I can't tell you how many times someone's downloaded a fall assessment when they should have downloaded a winter one, or vice versa. So we try to make it simple by making it so you can't click these buttons, but occasionally people download them in advance and print them out and give them to the wrong students. Who knows how this happens, but it does happen. Hopefully this has been insightful, and CERT will be an easy program to use. If you guys have any questions, feel free to contact us. You should have our email address for support, as well as our phone number. There's going to be a short quiz, very easy, just kind of going over how to use the program. And hopefully your students will use this over their whole high school experience and be able to increase their scores and better their chances of graduating high school and going to the college that they'd like. Again, my name's Thomas, and this was a quick overview of how to use CERT. Thank you.